Chapter 7, Jennifer the Pilot. In life, I believe you only get one good dog. Luke was that for me. I brought him home, this black puppy with a white spot on his chest. I did not ask my dad if I could have him or not. I saw this black puppy that my friend's parents were giving away, and I latched on to him. My dad could not refuse me. My dad is so awesome. He built this little half house attached to the side of the house. Luke had whined and howled for 3 nights. My dad knew I would try to let him in and stop me every time I tried to let him in. No, he must know his place in this family. Dad would say when I would cry to let him in. Animals are to stay outside. They are animals and are built to stay outdoors. Simple. On the 4th night, Luke decided that his own house and living with us was not so bad and decided to stay. Luke never tried to enter the house or expected to go in. My dog was smart and jealous. Grandma Heidi had a small German Shepherd looking like named Chipper. Chipper liked Luke and trained him to be a good dog. Our life was complete. We had a house, a mom, and a dad, and a new dog to go with it all. Strange how life gives you all this and takes away some. In my kid world, we had it all. The school only could educate you until you hit high school. A couple of options at this point. Go to town, correspondence, or go far away to a boarding school. Brother Henry had one day had to get on a plane and go to an Indian boarding school in another state. I had no idea this was to happen. My brother was being pushed to get ready to travel and be gone for the school year. The school year, I couldn't imagine a life without my brother. He had turned into an adult in 2 minutes, it seemed, and then he was out of my world. Devastated. A life without brother. Unimaginable. 2 weeks later, I was helping Grandma Heidi and Aunt Janet get ready to move to town. The plane was on its way, and my grandma was running around looking for this piece of paper called Medicaid. I found it under the bed and gave it to them. They were excited and acting crazy. The plane flew in, and they were getting ready to leave their house when they stopped and looked at me and said, "Come on, let's go." I'm like, "Let's go where?" They simply said that I was going to town with them and go to school. What? I told them that I had not packed and have no clothes to go to town. My Aunt Janet was throwing wet clothes in bags and said we would get me some clothes in town. Town was beautiful and sunny when we landed. Living in town was a new adventure. My brother Henry was attending school over 2,000 miles away for high school, and I was in town going to middle school. My dad and Betty were all alone in Red River. School was school, except I was in the middle of white people. I had made a couple of friends right away. Were quite a sight, I'm sure of it. Amy was tall, creamy white, with fiery red hair. Rita was tall, white, and beautiful blonde hair. I was short, brown-skinned, and native. Karen was just taller than me, with beautiful copper-colored, wavy hair. We got along well, and Amy was the first friend I invited to my birthday. School was a blur with all the class changes and a locker I couldn't get into half the time. I just carried all my books. What was most interesting about this period in my life was I had to fly back and forth to the village to see my dad. Like I said before, native children were spoiled. We wanted to do something, we were given the tools or knowledge to do them. Chad the pilot was the pilot I had gotten on most of my trips. At Christmas break, I went to the village and was getting ready to return to school. Chad the pilot was all set to take off, or so I thought. Chad had pulled out his lunchbox, declaring that he was hungry and I was to fly the plane. He said he had full confidence in me that I flew enough I could fly us to town. Given instructions on how to start the taxi down the runway. I took hold of the yoke and listened very carefully as I taxied down the runway as he instructed how to live off the ground. In life, sometimes you must take the yoke and go for it. Wow, what a feeling. I was flying the plane. With a little bit more instructions and pointed in the direction of town, Chad took a nap. It was beautiful and calm that day I flew to town. Incredible. As we neared town, I woke Chad up and he instructed how to land. We landed perfectly.